Science Magazine is reporting that Republican representative, unsurprisingly, Lamar Smith, is launching an assault on the National Science Foundation. Now, this shouldn't be surprising. Republicans hate the National Science Foundation and the fact that they're receiving government money, although I'll tell you how little they're receiving in government money in just a second. But recently, he proposed something known as the High Quality Research Act.
Yeah.
And according to Raw Story, Smith's High Quality Research Act scraps the NSF's current peer review process, which solicits the opinions of independent experts as to the intellectual merit of broader impacts of proposed research. Instead, a new set of non-scientific standards for science funding are being proposed.
That's awesome. Look, we talk about the Republicans' war on science. Here it is, in black and white. There's no question about it. Like National Science Foundation, goddamn science. The guy is on the committee on science and technology. Okay, that's his committee, and he hates science. Now, what Anna just read to you is much worse, though. Not only do I not want to fund real science, I'd like to fund things that aren't real science and confuse you. And gee, I wonder why they might want to do that. Could it be to help their donors from the energy industry who don't believe in the science of climate